All right, Keith. I wanted to talk to you mostly about the CD-ROM,
CD-ROM, yeah.
which is coming out. And I've heard at first you're kind of skeptical of the whole project. Why? What were you skeptical about?
Well, I always am when people come and offer new toys. You know, it's really high-tech ones. You know, I was highly skeptical of the jumbo screen because there's another thing to fall on my head. You know, but I'm like that. That's the way I am. You know, and then I check it out. I never kill it totally. You know, I just go, and if they come back, and the ROM people came back, and every few weeks they'd come to show us a little more, and they drew me in. You know, I started to see the thing as an interesting system, not just from our point of view, you know, just for the Voodoo, the Rolling Stones, but just as a learning system, as a teaching thing, you know, because it suddenly made what most of us don't get. You know, it's like a good teacher, you know, like the quest. You can enjoy yourself with it, and if you get bored in one area, you can go to another. So I can see it be applied to, you know, mathematics, you know, medicine, you know, geometry, or, you know, anything you like, you know, if you're in whatever you're into, you know, not just rock and roll or the blues, but at the same time, every time they came back, it fascinated me more and more. And you got to understand that I ain't a computer guy, you know. I mean, you say mouse to me, I put Voodoo the cat on it, or a bit of cheese and off with its head. So I mean, I'm not naturally inclined that way. You have to convince me, but they convinced me. And the more I saw of it, the more possibilities I saw. And I guess the other thing being that you're in the recording, you've been in the recording studios for 30-odd years. You're basically always somewhere near the edge, cutting edge of technology. And I've seen this thing go from 2-track for 8, 16, 24, analog, digital. You know, it's always part of your life, in other words. Recording studios are always the first places to get stuff that has just been unveiled from secrecy by the RAF or USAF or whatever, you know. I mean, and then we could do this, and so you're always kind of engaged with high-tech stuff, you know, as you go, just to make a record, you know. So in a way, my interest and our interest in it is a kind of an ongoing thing. It's like IMAX, you know, always first in.
Cool. As the whole CD-ROM project was coming together, you said you grew to love it. Was there any one particular thing about the Stones CD-ROM that they showed you, and you were like,
I guess cool. When I could go in the library and see some footage of, you know, Muddy Waters and Little Water Jacobs, you know, I went in there to learn. You know, I went to the bar. I knew I was there in the bar with Ronnie. We're always, you know, and, you know, other guys might prefer the bar, you know, but to me, when I saw, you know, what you could get out of it, you know, you can go in that door and then say, well, you know, have a look at that, have a look, check that out, you know. If you're interested in something, I found it a great, an entertaining way to learn things as well, you know. There's some humor, there's, you know, scantily clad ladies, you know, there's all of that, you know, and you can do anything you like with it, you know.
Have you had a chance to check out any of the other CD-ROMs, like the Bob Dylan CD-ROM? Or any
I have not as yet. My only experience of it is with this one. You know, I would expect that eventually CD-ROM could expand out into like many different areas. You know, I say you can get rid of all those encyclopedias, save 3 feet of wall space. You know, index. By the time you found it, you forgot what you were looking for. You know, so in a way, you know, I see it like that. You know, it's the teacher you never had.
Cool. What was it like actually making the CD-ROM? I guess you had to be in front of cameras. Did you have to react to a lot of things that weren't there?
You know, this weirdest thing is like total like blanked out background and pretend the things are there. And you know, I'm a guitar player. You know, I've got to learn all of these tricks. You know, but in a way, it's quite easy once you get the hang of it and you see how it's done. But it was kind of like making that Love Is Strong video, you know, where, what's my motivation? Well, you do 11 seconds on that turntable and then you walk down that treadmill and, you know, imagine the rest. But then you see it back and you go, wow. So, you know, it's like use your imagination time in a way. And also, you're always like, you know, you might be falling over the edge of an abyss. You know, you never know. You know, nobody's taken a band this far along the road. You know. But we've learned how to fall down, get up.
How did you feel when you finally saw the finished product? Was it as much of a rush as seeing like your first album in the stands, or you're seeing yourself on TV for the first time?
Well, almost, it was, I mean, almost, maybe, hey, you're a musician, you know, you're making a record, it's like, you know, it's, but it was more interested in myself, like my original cynicism, negative thing about it, and that when as I've seen it develop, you know, and I've seen myself change, my attitude change towards it. You know, now I'm warm. You know, I was cold, I was chill, and now I'm warm towards it. You know, and it's. I want to see where else it's going to go. Really, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. What do you think of the whole virtual reality thing, the kind of creating and selling of experiences, not just really the reference?
You know, I would say first check out reality. What's this virtual shit? There's like cascade, you know, virtually spotless, you know, almost.
Right.
It's a lawyer's word, that virtual. You know.
Exactly.
Mind you, you want to design a new kitchen, apparently they can sell you one that way.
Yeah, it's a hell of a sales tool.
I don't know, I can't wear that stuff, you know.
Get more design
Yeah,
colors.
I'll wait till they get the costume down a little better, you know.
You may have already answered this, but just the whole technology thing, especially with the computers, do you feel it's a good thing, or do you lose something kind of human and warm and all this, like a tube amp versus a...
There's a bit of George Orwell in me. It was 1984, it was right on the button, right? I don't know, we don't know, nobody knows, I think. There's guys that make these things that are warning us that they'll soon be conspiring against us. You know, and speaking in their own language that we won't understand and won't even know, and they'll be telling us what to do, and without us even knowing it. There's that scenario. You know, is it our tool, or does the tool take us over? You know, it's like the Industrial Revolution. Do we really need it?
Yeah. As I was coming up with these questions, I kind of thought of one of your songs, 2000 Man, where like this guy's kind of at odds with technology. Do you identify with that guy, or?
I think you can't just take technology and just accept everything that's possible. You know, just because it can be done doesn't mean it should be done. I mean, hey, I can kill you right now. It doesn't mean I should. Right? I mean, I think we have to really be very careful inventing mass brains. You know, that as when we don't even know our own. You know? We don't even know what we want to put them to use for, but you know, as a species, you know, we tend to kind of do that because it can be done, and because we know how to do it, we'll do it without knowing the outcome of it, and then we have to live with the consequences of it and work our way out of that. You know,
yeah, exactly.
We're always cornering ourselves.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. That's it. That's the cut.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think so.
I would love to ask one more question.
One more?
Yeah, it'll be
Okay.
2 minutes total.
The answer is 5 hours long.
Yeah. So we're working on this.
I'll try and shorten the answer.
I think it's interesting that you have this CD-ROM coming out, you know, very 90s thing, and your new album, and at the same time the Beatles are dropping kind of a big
Head to
bomb.
head again, boys.
Exactly. Yeah, do you follow what the Beatles are up to much?
Yeah, I saw George in London. He came to the show, you know. He was cursing his luck that he didn't still have a band together. But at the same time, he was into, you know, making the Beatles thing. And we were just laughing. 30 years ago, boy. He was like, when your new record coming out, you know, and we're still doing it. And that's the fact, even John's on the record, you know, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, how do you feel about that as a fan? Are you excited, or as an artist, is it kind of spooky?
Hey, if it's John, you know, how would John feel about it? I mean, I think he'd rather like let the boys sing along with him. That's what recording's about. Maybe one of the pluses of technology, you know. And or he'd, if he was here, he might say, "You're not putting that out," you know. But that's up to them. It's there on tape. Use, you know, give us a little more John, please. We miss him, right?
Yeah, definitely. Keith, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure,
Thanks
Chris.
for
All
getting on.
right, man.
Gotta de-wire myself now.
Yeah, a real pro. Just like me, isn't he?
Nah, I totally